Hello dear Bytecoin enthusiasts, welcome back to Bytecoin Guru. Happy 2019 from Bytecoin Guru, since this is the first video that we've made this calendar year. I want to wish you the best, the most exciting, prosperous, and eventful next 365 days, my friends. This is definitely going to be an year to remember in history as well as just overall. So I want you to be as present as possible and enjoy. This is a extraordinary, which I recently found out to be proven, that this is a holographic multiplayer biological reality. And that kind of helps me grasp the fact that there is no such thing as coincidences. And there is no coincidence that you're watching this video. Don't let this be the last video that you're going to watch regarding Bytecoin. Always do further research. Always try to stay well-rounded and open-minded. But I'm here to tell you, this time of the market history in cryptocurrency is very, very pivotal. And it needs to be taken with seriousness, and you need to utilize it when, let's say, the markets are slow, there's not much trading, etc., whatever it is. Take this opportunity to learn, to better understand, to be more, like I said, well-rounded on the topic that you're dealing with. That way you can make better decisions. You don't have to base your trades upon fear. And like I say, as long as you don't sell for less than what you bought it for, you should never technically, theoretically lose money. You can lose the comparative quote-unquote price or cost in whatever the currency, the denominated currency that you're comparing to. But from Bytecoin Guru's perspective, cryptocurrency can never lose value. If anything, it increases value because people continue to mine it. Therefore, it increases difficulty. And if it doesn't increase difficulty, it depletes supply. And demand ultimately kicks in. Remember, crowd and the herd always moves last. So that demand is going to be the last that comes. After the supply is gone, after people have already mined it. Which kind of brings me to mention, and I think it's very important, regarding the whole pre-mine situation of Bytecoin. A lot of people that are going to be born now and anything past 20 or 2000 are going to complain that cryptocurrencies were pre-mined by the very few individuals that knew about cryptocurrencies. If you're watching this video, you most likely one of the 5%, 10% of global population that knows about what cryptocurrency or digital assets or blockchain technology even is. So if you have ever mined, or if you have ever purchased or anything like that, any cryptocurrency, technically some people are going to be salty at you for knowing it ahead of time. So if Bytecoin was mined before its original release onto the clear web, you cannot blame Bytecoin for that. Bytecoin was introduced to meet users' demand and desire. And so it came out in the communities where it was desired. Once it got extremely popular and the developers realized that this is and should be brought out to the public's attention because it is and could be very potential and have a positive impact, it came to the surface. And now everybody knows about it. This is the natural progression. In the beginning, only a couple people are going to know, and then later on, the masses are going to find out. This is exactly what's happening with Bytecoin. But Bytecoin, remember, has a very specific characteristics, okay, that are not very popular amongst the masses. So if you're a Bytecoin enthusiast, you would want to know how the technology works, because you're not just here for a pump and dump scheme or whatever. You're here to truly benefit out of the technology that is available to humanity. So, sorry, my dear friends. Thank you so much. If you've watched through the whole thing, you've seen what a rabbit hole I go down on when I talk about that type of thing. But the main important purpose of this video was actually the new blog that the Bytecoin team came out with, and that is the blockchain gateways in Bytecoin. Very awesome article. I want to break it down because even though it's very straightforward and it talks about a lot, I think the BytecoinGuru perspective on this might shed some light on maybe things that are somewhat unclear. So this article was posted January 22nd, a couple days ago. If you're in the know and if you're a Bytecoin enthusiast, you've already probably read it. For those of you who have not, I hope this kind of sheds light on anything that you might not get the first time. So, impediments to growth, which means any type of block, any type of obstacle that is in the way of Bytecoin's progress and expansion, okay? It is difficult to amplify your presence in a world of thousands of tokens and coins. The cryptocurrency landscape is oversaturated with various crypto assets, and there are only a number of tokens and coins prospective business partners are willing to collaborate with. So, out of the many, out of the thousands, only a couple are going to be taken seriously and made partnerships with. So it's a little bit difficult to get recognized, especially when you have certain assets that are only about hype. Like that was very popular. People did not understand the technology and the way that it works. So people were just driven by money, and they got caught. And they should have seen that coming, because there were plenty of articles talking about this just by simple Google search. Every crypto asset faces similar challenges in expanding its presence, but among the toughest are audience support and financial liquidity. A considerable amount of audience support provides exchanges with some certainty considering the liquidity of the asset. In that effort to integrate this asset would almost definitely be followed by some amount of trading. Every asset supporter is a potential trader for an exchange. So, the biggest thing that any currency would face, of course, is the interest of the people. If you have the people's interest, they will become involved financially. They will trade. If you have trade, you have volume. If you have volume, you have liquidity. If you have liquidity, you have trust. And that's how ultimately someone who's merely just interested in the technology ultimately communicates with an exchange. And that's how the trust is built. And that's how the two work together to ultimately decide which exchange it goes on. So, what does Bytecoin need for it to become the absolute best? People being aware. People being aware of the notes that they're carrying around, the monopoly money that they're carrying in their pockets. They need to be aware how that works. Then they need to be aware how other currencies work. Then they need to be aware how precious metals work. Then they need to be aware of how, to a certain extent, how cryptocurrencies work. And then, once they get down to the features of a cryptocurrency and to its privacy, anonymity, traceability, all that good stuff, then you start to realize what kind of features an actual medium of exchange, aka money, should have. Okay? So be interested. And if you want other people to be interested, talk to others about this. Spread the message and make other people aware of the fact that there's even such thing as privacy cryptocurrencies. Because remember, many people still think that Bitcoin is untraceable, which is dangerous. Okay? And an asset's degree of liquidity is the go-to market instrument among exchanges for measuring its financial security and success. Most market players, like exchanges and merchants, can cooperate with an asset to increase the asset's liquidity. but are also incentivized to do so with assets that already have higher liquidity value. Industry players are constantly seeking to find solutions to these issues in new technological innovations. So yes, of course, Bytecoin will get more volume if it gets listed on Bittrex, and Bytecoin will get more volume if it gets relisted on Binance. Sure, but what would make Binance and Bittrex and OKX consider or reconsider to relist Bytecoin? That would be the interest of the people. If the people truly want to see something happen, they will make it happen regardless, with or without a centralized exchange. An asset will succeed. When there were major issues with Mt. Gox, that wasn't the end of Bitcoin. Look at Bitcoin now. So things are going to happen, major things are going to happen, but you in your 3D perspective with your eyes and the perception of time is only going to look at a small time frame of the history and the actual big events that are happening. So you're going to think that this is going to be it, currency is going to die, etc. Much bigger pictures we need to take a look at, and Bytecoin is the one that is going to cover the whole canvas. You guys are the best. I'll catch you in the next one because we definitely need to go over the blockchain gateway in Bytecoin. But if you guys have any questions, do not hesitate to let me know. BytecoinGuru is always here, always working on Bytecoin. I've been reading the Bytecoin white paper for the past 2 weeks, reading it over and over and over again, taking notes and dissecting it. So if you guys want to hear me go through my notes or whatever it is, or you want to see particular things mentioned, anything I cannot answer, I will make sure I either ask the Bytecoin team or I find that answer for you. You guys are the best. Have an awesome one. Catch you in the next one.